I ask you to tolerate my holy humor icebreakers each time I'm your lay leader. But this one is warm up the crowd in view of our guest speakers, performers, actors, comedians, founders, entrepreneurs, teachers, spouses, parents, gods, and monsters, and Ken and Barbie with us today. I list all these hats worn by Dan and Tara Sytsma of Crawl Space Eviction Improv Group, partly because they wear them both in real life as well as in front of an audience. Improv performers must play anyone, anything, or any part, whether gods or monsters, because they are not bound to a prescribed script, text, or theme. Just say the word pink, and they're off and running. Which brings me back to Ken and Barbie. It's Oscar season, and the Barbie movie is up for several awards. Personally, I loved it. Anybody see it? Mm-hmm. But it's obvious that Barbie and Ken never change. They're eternally youthful. The only things that change about them are their outfits. So here's a bit of abject flattery for our guests. I've known them since the late 90s, I think, early 20s, 2000s, somewhere in there, and hadn't seen them together in person for years. I ran into them last month, and I'd like to know which straw they're using to drink from the fountain of youth, because I want one. They're ageless. Crawl Space Eviction was performing in, I think this is wrong too, the early 2000s at the Whole Art, yeah. Okay, the early 2000s is a Whole Art Theater storefront space on the North Kalamazoo Mall when I began attending their performances. By the way, the Whole Art is no longer with us, having closed in 2010. I was new to live improv back then and greatly enjoyed the often side-splitting hilarity of their shows. I've been a passionate participant in theater and music performance for about 48 years. I was willing to try just about anything on stage or on the concert platform. That did not include improv. But I did take an improv class in the 1980s. I wasn't very good at it. My instructor, a very nice guy, told me kindly at one point, "I think you can do better than that." I don't want to take away time from Dan and Tara to tell the whole story, so here's the short version. I was playing my one and only leading man role in the musical Brigadoon for the Paw Paw Village Players in 1985. In the penultimate scene, I was alone on stage and had to improvise an exit soliloquy, some ridiculous quasi-Shakespearean thing that I'm still embarrassed about to this day, but because an essential prop that I needed to play the scene, a telephone was residing comfortably backstage that should have been on stage. It's difficult to make or receive a phone call when there's no phone. The consolation prize was a gag award from the show's producers after the show closed, a tiny metal phone glued to an unfinished block of wood. The citation read something like this: "Best improvising by an actor in a musical in a small-town community theater." 39 years later, I still have that award somewhere. I don't know where it is. Attending those performances by Crawl Space Eviction sparked my interest as a spectator in the art of improvisation. Another experience that intensified that interest was seeing the movie Don't Think Twice, released in theaters in 2016, starring its writer, producer, and director, Mike Birbiglia. Mike is also a comedian who I'm quite sure has appeared at least once in Kalamazoo at the State Theater. The movie is about an improv group called The Commune, which has been performing with the same 7 members for 11 years. They're about to lose their longtime performance space. They're dealing with offstage relationships turning sour, and the personal ambitions of a couple of their members threatening their morale. I found every aspect of the movie, direction, writing, casting, and acting, completely compelling and convincing. Crawl Space has been around more than twice as long as the fictional The Commune. For all I know, perhaps it too has faced some similar challenges. I've been on the boards of more than one theater and theater support organizations to know how difficult it is to maintain the financial and artistic stability and growth of performing arts groups. We all know what it was like when the COVID pandemic cut a huge swath through every part of our lives. Since 2017, Crawl Space has become allied with KNAC, the Kalamazoo Nonprofit Advocacy Coalition, founded to, quote, preserve the iconic First Baptist Church building in downtown Kalamazoo to provide affordable, collaborative workspace for nonprofits, artists, and startups. Crawl Space now performs there in what I would call a nightclub setting with a stage and a bar serving adult beverages. They are maintaining a regular performance schedule featuring their own members as well as outside artists. Finally, I'm almost done. Sheila O'Malley, a movie reviewer for Ebert.com, wrote in her review of Don't Think Twice, "Improv is a great model for society, which explains why people devoted to improv talk about it with an evangelical gleam in their eyes. What it would be like if we all listened to one another like that? What would it be like if we accepted one another's contributions with generosity and openness? What if we approached every interaction not with no, but with yes, and?" So let us bask in the evangelical gleam emanating from our guests today. Welcome, Dan and Tara.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow. I want to bring David with us everywhere. That was, I think, the best introduction we've ever had.
Single best introduction ever. Thank you. Thank you,
that
David.
Was absolutely terrific. Good trip down memory lane.
Yeah, for real. We have known David for a long, long time, over 20 years.
And have been appreciating him in his various musical and theatrical productions that he's been a part of. Mm-hmm. I think we were on the male chorus together for a little bit. Yes. He sang beautifully, and I was on the chorus. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are very excited to be here today. We're Dan and Tara Sytsma, and we are improvisers. We've been improvising together for 20 years, and that's super exciting. First of all, thank you for such a wonderful welcome and such a beautiful space. I myself haven't been in church in a while, and this feels really good. It feels really good to be here, to walk into the space with the art, and the music is beautiful. So thank you. It feels great. Okay, yep. So what we thought we would do for the next 20, 25 minutes or so is do some of the activities, some of the improv activities that we share with groups of people every day. And what we thought is we would keep it very light and simple and not super scary, because we do realize when people hear the word improv, sometimes that can be scary. And I totally, totally understand that. I love the song Brave because we have 5 values on our wall in our improv theater, because we also have a whole education program. And those are welcoming, we try to be welcoming of everybody, supportive, respectful with our comedy, forgiven, which actually is not a church word, but just if you say anything you wish you hadn't, instant forgiveness. And then the last one is brave. That's my favorite one. I teach classes there all the time. And it's all about taking risks and really, truly trying to be brave. And that's what we're going to do today. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So we're both kind of recovering evangelicals. So it's, we feel very fortunate to be in a space, in a spiritual space, in a faith space, talking about something that we've discovered as being such a great guide for a lot of our life decisions. We're married, we have 2 children, we have an improv team, as David said, that's been active for 20 years. And it's curious to compare with other improv teams and to think about what led to the longevity of it. And I do think the brave, the courage that goes into it is important. I think to last that long, I think the forgiveness is a big component. We all mess up, we all make mistakes, and we exercise that act of forgiveness that is so important. Forgiving each other and also forgiving ourselves. That's led to being on a team for 20 years with Tara and other members, I think 10 years, they've been a part of it. So it's really quite an experience. It does tend to be funny. It does tend to be funny. That's what we usually aim for. So why don't we just kind of demonstrate what an improv game looks like.
Okay.
This requires some of your help. You can just stay where you're seated and help us out from your seat. But we're gonna create a scene. We're gonna create a moment where Tara and I will play characters, and periodically we'll hold our arms out to you, the audience. And when we do that, if you can just shout a word at us, then we will fit that word into the scene, and it'll have an effect on it. Tara, you want to demonstrate?
Sure. Dan, the sun is out. Look in that tree. It's it's an asparagus
Yeah.
in the tree,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Yeah, Portage is known for their tree asparagus.
That's right.
Yeah.
They sure
It's
are.
very rare. It's some derivative of the celery. Yeah. So let's set something up.
Okay.
Maybe a place where one of you has been recently and had a great experience. Where's some place that you've been recently and it ended up being a positive moment for you?
Yes.
Chocolate
I
tea.
love chocolate tea.
Is that the one downtown?
Yes.
Kalamazoo? The one out
Oh,
here in
great,
Portage.
different
Where is the one in Portage?
Okay.
Oh, lovely. So it's a coffee shop tea and hot chocolate. Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, the big coffee cup.
Lovely. And so we're set there. What is our relationship? Maybe an unusual relationship. How do Tara and I, our characters know each other? What's something?
In so long. Sometimes people
okay.
think we're brother and
That's lovely.
sister, but we're not.
That's lovely.
Oh, I can't believe that I haven't seen you in so long, Rick.
I'm so glad we get to meet in front of this giant green coffee cup.
It's so big. It's the biggest coffee cup in the world. Did you know that?
Apparently they brewed a special brew just for us. It's called Brothers and Sisters Brew
Because it's Brothers and Sisters Day.
today.
I brought you a gift.
Okay, I'm gonna take a sip first from
Okay.
the giant coffee cup.
Yum.
It tastes a lot like fish.
Okay.
A lot like fish.
Yes, that's the umami nature of it.
I think they made this from Portage Creek water.
You think?
I'm pretty sure they did.
Oh,
It's
my.
a familiar scent
Yeah?
from walking on the trail.
Sure.
Yeah.
We don't have to drink it. We can just bask in its glory.
Honestly, I kind of like
You
it.
love it.
I often drink coffee and think, not enough fish.
So I did give you this gift.
Oh, yes,
And
yes.
it's important to me. Go ahead and open it. It's
It's a jar full of...
miniature saxophones.
Oh!
Remember
I
when
used to play the saxophone.
every Christmas morning
Yep, Mom would force me to get the old baritone sax out.
and you pretended that you didn't want to, but you really did.
And Dad didn't want me to.
No, he still wouldn't.
Yeah. Oh.
And they
Oh,
play.
but
Each
they
one
play?
is
Oh,
a
my
real
goodness.
saxophone.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can remember the fingering.
Start with the song Staying Alive. I love that song.
Okay.
Bee
Yep.
Gees.
That sounded a lot more like a dirge.
It did sound like
It
a
did,
dirge. Like
yeah.
I feel sort of emo all of a sudden.
Yeah, boy,
But that's not
very
bad.
Portage.
It's not bad. No,
Yeah,
it's not.
Portage is not known for its dirges.
That song made me remember when we used to ice skate together. Remember?
Yeah, everybody was always so happy, but we always brought it down.
Yeah.
All right. A very dirge-like skate.
Slow and intentional.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. Hey, by the way, how's your new job going? You just recently started working at Walmart.
Yep, it's going well.
Yeah.
I'm really leaning into it. I like
Yeah.
it. I just decided to love it.
No one greets people like you do, Cynthia.
Thank you. My
I need
favorite
more of
part
this
of the
fish
job.
coffee.
My favorite part of the job is the shoplifters.
I bet.
Because it really gives me an opportunity to connect. First of all, to find them and catch them,
Yeah.
and then to connect and really make a difference.
Well, I know you. I mean, you used to be on that tackle football team.
Heck yeah, I
You were
did.
an all-star, and so you really know how to
Beast.
wrap them up.
Yep.
Yeah, which I always appreciated.
Yeah.
You hug well and you tackle well.
And scene.
There we go. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm going to walk into this coffee.
Oh, we have a latecomer coming in.
That's great.
This is what we do in improv. We embarrass people that come in late.
Or leave
That's
early.
what's a lot.
All right.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's an example of an improv game called Hesitation. We play that in performances. And improv it's a very deceptive art form because oftentimes what it looks like is funny people being funny in front of a crowd. That's the experience we want people to have. We want you to enjoy the laughter and enjoy the moments that are created because we're discovering things at the same time that you are. So that's the difference between improv comedy and, say, stand-up comedy or even sketch comedy, where a lot of the humor, a lot of the laughs are realized ahead of time by the writer. And so they know a lot of what is going to be presented. But improv is different. We have to follow different rules and different guidances so that we can discover things at the same time as the audience, which is really special in a performance kind of aspect, much like a great jazz concert where you feel this is the only time this moment is ever going to happen. This music is being created spontaneously because in that moment in time, that's what those ensemble members wanted to do, or were feeling, or were channeling, whatever muse they were experiencing. And improv is very similar.
We'll never see the chocolatey scene again.
Ever. Well, it will be on YouTube.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Hi, YouTube.
Cool. So what we have for you next is an opportunity to actually try this, but right from your seats. So it's quite simple, hopefully not too scary for you. So what you're going to do is find a partner, and it can also be groups of 3, if that's better for you. So Dan and I will show you an example, and in your partners or groups of 3, you are going to try and do what we just did with a small parameter placed on it. You are going to plan a vacation together, which sounds so great.
It does.
We need a vacation.
It does, I know.
And every single line is going to start with the words, yes, but. Yes, but. And we'll see what happens. For example, where should Dan and I go on our much-needed vacation? Yes, Iceland. Dan, we should go to Iceland. It's been a while since we've been on vacation. We should go there.
Yes, but I have a unrealistic and unrational crush on Bjork, and I'm afraid of what might happen if I visit her homeland.
Yes, but hopefully you'll be able to not give into that crush. You will be there with me, and maybe we could focus on some of the beautiful sightseeing.
Yes, but I get heat rashes really easily, and I'm afraid in the hot springs I'm just gonna be one giant rash for the whole trip.
Yes, but you could wear long sleeves, long pants, and hopefully you won't get that kind of heat rash from the sun.
Yes, but I'm afraid of what Bjork will think if she sees me too covered up. In too much clothing and too many layers.
Yes, but it's not even a guarantee that we will see Bjork. Keep talking about Bjork. Maybe we could focus instead on the food. I've heard it's fabulous.
Yes, but they use a lot of shellfish, and I'm deathly allergic. And I feel like that also could be a hazard.
Okay, and we could continue, and sometimes do at our house. So, go ahead and pair up or get in a group of 3. The first person, doesn't matter who, says, we should go on a vacation to wherever. It can be wherever. And then every single line after that starts with the words, yes, but. Have fun.
Less. Too much participation is probably weird. Yeah.
Okay, let's stop there. Wonderful, but stay right in your spots. So you may know where this is going because of our wonderful introduction from David. We're going to do this exercise again right now in your same groups with the same destination. So the first line remains the same. Dan, we should go to Iceland. We deserve a vacation. We haven't done one in a while. And then every line now is going to start with the words yes and. Yes and. And then we'll chat about it and see how that went. Okay?
So pretend the first round didn't happen, hit the reset button, and it's a new round, new beginning, or same beginning, but then yes and to start things.
Okay, have fun.
Well, they'll have a Q&A. But discussion, debrief. So you don't think, so you think you should lead it? So if I do, and two people share a microphone, and then you maybe are out in the crowd. Sure. We'll make sure.
Just repeat the questions.
I can repeat the question, and then they can start it off.
Okay, let's bring your focus back up here. Thank you for doing that exercise. Real quick question. Of those two rounds, the yes but and the yes and, which was more productive for your group? Really? And why is that, David?
It's a little more difficult in the transition. I mean, it's too positive, I guess.
As humans, we are. We are.
Nice. Anybody have a Different experience or yes?
Yes, and I just think that the second one was more enjoyable for me because it seemed to open up more opportunities for going way where we started.
Yeah, nice. Anybody else? Anybody else have a similar experience?
Yeah, but the first one, it seemed like I didn't really want to argue against all these one.
Right.
Go along with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it felt like arguing in the first one. Interesting.
Yeah, this is the foundational philosophy, as David shared from that great movie, Don't Think Twice. A really great exploration of what improvisers experience and what kinds of rules we follow so that we can create theater on the spot together. That yes and philosophy is just that. It's a philosophy that really helps guide a lot of our lives. We try to push the limits of what yes and can do and when it can be incorporated, and also when in life it's least or it's most difficult to incorporate it. We have that impulse. So we've kind of shared yes and leads to a lot of opportunities and really positive outcomes. And yet, in meetings, oftentimes you get that yes, but coming in. Where does that come from? Where do you think that comes from in your experience? Practicality sometimes?
We've never tried that before.
We've never tried that? Absolutely.
We've never tried that before.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear that is based around the yes, but. That oftentimes, even the words that are said, yes, but, usually is followed by a third word. What do you think that is? I. And usually then followed by some sort of negative or fear-based response, or some sort of dislike, very negative emotions. Whereas yes and usually is followed by a third word. What do you think that is? We. Yeah, opening up opportunities. It's a shared experience. So that's a big part of why it's so important to improvisers, because we don't have anything else except each other on stage. So we need to preserve that relationship.
If Dan says there's a giant cup of coffee here, yes, there is. And it's full of water from the Portage Creek, right?
Yeah.
So if I had said, yeah, but I don't really see it, right? Then I'm basically saying that wasn't a very good idea. And on stage, when all we have is each other, that's crucial. So this single idea, the yes and way of communicating, has totally changed the way, we also teach this every day, but has totally changed the way that I communicate with people. It helps me be more open, to listen better, and this idea of let's talk to each other. We don't have to agree on everything, but let's at least start with that place of I'm listening to you and I'm hearing you, which is to me how you can bring the yes and concept into everyday life, not just the stage. So we're going to end with one more thing. Does that work? Yes, and it's going to be great.
He had to say it.
No.
Do we have any brave volunteers, Sarah Bareilles brave, that wouldn't mind coming up on the stage, maybe even just two or three, however many we want to. And really this exercise will be the last thing that we do. It sort of shows this idea of building something together, which is what improv is. And you're just going to say one word at a time. So, do we have some volunteers that wouldn't mind? Yay! Come on up. Anybody
And
else?
We might need to
I'm
borrow that extra microphone
Yes,
as
thank
well.
you. Come on up. Excellent. Yeah, that's great. If we could, that would be wonderful. Da-da-da-da.
All right,
Thank you.
so
Come on up.
come on up on stage.
Yep.
You as well, Ken.
Yep. Excellent.
I thought these were toilet paper rolls,
No.
but I realized
better,
it's
even
a
better.
handy tool to get up on stage.
Yes,
Sure
and
is.
they're also handy tools to go up on stage.
Exactly.
Yes,
and
and-
so we have Ken, and what is your name, sir?
I'm Chase.
Chase. Okay, Chase and Ken, you'll be sharing the microphone back and forth, so you'll become good friends by the end of this one, if you're not already. Tara, do you want to set us up
Sure.
with what we are?
So what we're going to do is this now, they look like three fabulous separate humans. They are not anymore. They are one three-headed expert. Expert on everything, really, everything in life. And the way this goes is I'm going to go into the audience if you raise your hand. So I won't put you on the spot, but if you raise your hand, and I'm going to get advice questions from the audience. And this expert will answer the question one word at a time until we feel, and they'll keep going until we feel that the question has been answered. So fun. It's called The Expert. It's a performable improv game, and hopefully you have a ton of fun doing it. So it also shows a couple great skills. It shows listening and being present, and also building using this idea of yes and. So they need to listen and build on each other's ideas. Who's got a first question? Something that maybe is an advice-related question. I can also ask the first question to get things rolling. Oh, three-headed expert. Thank you for your time. How about I have a dog that has terrible breath? What can I do about this needed problem?
You.
That
A.
Spicy.
treat,
That.
Will.
taste,
Remarkable.
And.
you,
Can.
Liquefy.
if,
Warranted.
All right, let's clap for that. This expert knows no bounds. Who has another question? It could be anything you need advice on. Doesn't have to be real. Yes, I'm coming with the microphone in the back here. A question for our expert.
My feet are very different sizes. How can I get shoes without having to buy 2 pair?
It's a really, really good question.
Online.
go,
2.
Bigfootstore.com.
and,
Steal.
Toe boots for small people.com.
and,
Checkout.
One of each.
Good. One word at a time, expert.
One.
Okay, do we have one last
That's a
question?
website.
Something, yeah.
Just
Those are
say
all
.com
hyphenated
at the
words.
end of it.
One last question. Anything that you just won't be able to sleep tonight. Oh, I thought you had a question. Without knowing. Yes, in the back. I'm coming with a microphone.
When I look out at space, it's all so big and dark. It makes me feel small. What should I do?
It's a really good question.
find,
Inner.
Peace.
which,
Transcends.
The.
uh-oh,
Continuum.
The uh-oh continuum. All right, let's clap for our three-headed expert.
Well done. Well done. Terrific.
All right, well, I think that is all our time. Come on down over here. Yes, thank you so much for opening up your space to us and making us feel so welcome. Hopefully you've enjoyed these ideas of improv, listening to each other, working with each other, being open. I know they certainly have helped me.
Who's the quilter in the group? There's such a lovely. Oh, there's
That was an
many
assumption, Dan.
quilters.
Quilters over the years that have graced our space.
Lovely.
Beautiful.
It
That's
reminds
beautiful.
me of a story that is oftentimes talked about in improvisation that a quilter would make a mistake in a process, but then that mistake suddenly is woven into the rest of the quilt, and so that it no longer is a mistake, it's part of the overall creation. And that is what we do. Mistakes, Jackson Pollock famously said, "I don't use the mistakes, I deny the mistake." And that is a big part of what we do as improvisers. And so yes, we appreciate being a part of the quilt today. So thank you.
Thank you. Yay!